Welcome to my first edition of Wednesday workouts. This is the first time I'm doing this and I am really open to feedback. If you want to leave comments or directly message me, please feel free to do so. I know that I want to get a better camera and a microphone, so apologies if this is a little bit off in either respect, but I will be improving those as we go. Hopefully you'll still then be able to see what I'm doing, hear what I'm doing, and be able to execute it yourself at home. For the workout today, it's going to be no more than 30 minutes, and we're going to use a weight if you have one, or you can do most things body weight, no problem. We'll also need a wall, some floor space, and a chair at a certain point as well. And if you feel any sort of pain or anything, just don't do the movement. I will show you sometimes an alternative way to do something, but otherwise you're just going to have to figure things out a little bit as we go and make sure that you don't put yourself into any poor position that doesn't suit you. So to start with, we're going to do some mobility. This is where you shouldn't trip over your equipment. Make sure it's in a good place, and we're going to do some big arm circles against the wall, so we need a lot of space on that wall if you can find some. If not, you can just do it in the air and just try to imagine that wall is right beside you. So here I'm going to place my palm down against it. I'm going to draw as big a circle as I can with that arm without rotating my body back towards it. And I want to start so that I'm really close to that wall. As I draw it, I'm going to find that it's quite tough at this position, but I want to still maintain my body position as best I can, and then sweep the hand all the way past the leg, flip it around and go again. So we're going to go for about 5 on each side of this movement. Again, if you feel any pain or discomfort, or if you can't do it, you can decrease the range, so only go as far as you feel comfortable. And you can also come away from the wall to make it a little bit easier so that you can actually do the movement. We'll reverse and change to the other arm. Up and around. And we want to try and get it to all come from the arm reaching rather than the back moving. 2 more. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to start on another shoulder exercise, opening up the chest area a bit more here. We're going to have our elbow on the wall, hand on the back of the head, and then you're going to bring your weight forward into this leg, which is going to be in front and pointing a little bit away from the wall. Just move that. So you can see a bit better there. So back leg, front leg. Turn that leg away from the wall. This elbow starts around ear height or so, and then you're just going to go forward and back, keeping the elbow on that spot. Ideally, you want to feel like your shoulder blade is sliding down your back. So you're going to go forward and back 5 times each side, and then you're going to change to the other side. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is complicated. It's definitely not going to be possible for everyone to get into each of these positions, but I like to start with it. I like you to see where you are and then to see improvements if you were to repeat this workout and these movements, see how you get on. You can also do this one, try to do it daily to get bigger or faster improvements. So first of all, we'll start hands and feet like in the top of a push-up. And you're going to bring your, let's say our left foot to the outside of our left hand. Try and do it in one movement, but lots of people end up having to kind of walk it up. That's fine too. Drop the back knee down for greater comfort, or keep it up and stretch it behind you if you can do so comfortably. And then you're going to bring your left elbow down the inside of your leg towards the floor as far as you can, again without overstraining anything here. So bring it down, have a little breath in and out there. And then rotate that same hand, that left hand up to the ceiling, keeping this knee pointing straight ahead. And then come back. Now this next part, I'm going to try and move myself out of the sun. This next part is going to be tricky for a lot of people in the advanced way, but I'll show you the easier way to do it first. You just want to straighten the front leg, and you can even sit on your heel at the back, or just rest into your hands if sitting down on your heel is too uncomfortable for any reason. Some people with knee pain won't tolerate that. So then you can move the leg in, so twist the foot in, but the whole leg goes with it, and out. Keeping that forward lean, and then come forward again, and you'll be transitioning to the other side. But for anyone that can do this version, you're going to stand up, you're going to straighten both legs then. You're going to pull that foot up to the ceiling, and you're going to twist it in and out. You should get a nice stretch on the hamstrings, and then you're going to come back down. So then we'll do the exact same movements on the other side. Bring that foot up to the outside of the hand. Slide your elbow down towards the floor. Take a breath in and out. Then reach up and around. Keep this knee forward. Bring down. Hands either side of the foot. Straighten it out, or stand up and straighten it out. Twist it out. Twist it in. And come back down. Okay, we're going to do all of that again. Bring the leg back, but we're going to do it as more of a flow. So, foot up, elbow down, reach up, hamstrings. Turn the foot in, out for a little bit extra, then come back down, swap sides, foot forward, elbow down, rotate, stretch the hamstrings, turn it in, and out, and then come back. So then after that, I just want to make sure we get a little bit at the front of the legs as well. So we're going to do a quad stretch. You can do it standing, nice and simple here, or we'll do a side line where we can get into a bit more of a specific position. So side line, if I go on my right side, I'm going to grab the front of my ankle rather than the foot. You can grab either, but sometimes it's a bit easier to hold onto the ankle if the foot feels a bit uncomfortable in that position. And then you want to pull your leg back so that your knee ends up hopefully in line or slightly behind your hip if you can, but not flared up. So you want to keep it parallel to the ground, pull it back, and don't let the back do any movement. So we don't want to feel any arch feeling in the back here. Just stretching the quads. Once you feel a stretch, you can stop and just hold it there. If you start to feel it relax, you might be able to pull a bit further later on in the stretch. And we'll do the other side. So about 3 to 5 breaths on each side is what I recommend for any static holds when we're doing static stretching. Okay, now we're about to get into our strength section. So I'm going to go through 5 exercises. I'm going to explain a bit by bit as we go through them. And we're going to do 3 rounds. So in the first round, I'll be talking a lot. In the second and third round, I'll try to talk much less and just kind of go through the exercises one after the other, with a break at the end of the sets of the 5 exercises. So you go at your pace, and feel free to just change an exercise a little bit by decreasing how far you go into it, making sure the weight is light enough or taking the weight away altogether, and making sure that you're not breathing excessively or feel like you're getting dizzy or anything like that. Pay attention to your body and just do what feels like a comfortable challenge for you. First exercise is going to be a goblet squash. So it is ideal if you have a weight, but you don't need one, and especially if you're a beginner. So if you're more advanced, a weight is great to add into the hands and hold at the chest. And we're just going to bring our bum down towards our heels and stand back up. So a good thing here is to try and think about pulling the bum towards the floor rather than sticking it out behind. But if you are someone who suffers with knee pain, the less knee bend until that gets resolved, the better. So you can have something in front of you to try and limit how much you bend your knees, and you can bring your bum back a little bit more. But it's really healthy for anyone without that pain to go through. We want to actually get a lot of bend in those knees and bring that bum straight down to the floor and try and keep upright with our body as best we can. You don't have to go as deep as that. You can go just to this distance. If that's all you can manage, it's absolutely fine. You just want to feel it in good places. So you want to feel quads, you You might feel the glutes, abs, those are all good. If you're barefoot, you might feel those feet really stretch and splay. It really work to push you back up, and that's great. We don't want to feel anything in our low backs, pretty much in any exercise actually, so just if that's where you're feeling it, focus a little bit more on your legs doing the work to push the ground away, and your hands getting a good grip on this weight so that it's not your back that's lifting up the weight, it's actually your shoulders and arms. So I'm going to do 3 more, completely lost count, but 10 is the goal that we're going for in this lift. I'll do another one. The next one is going to be push-ups. So we're going for 8 push-ups here, but you can really change this based on it being a lift that everyone tends to be at different points. So some people will be able to do it on the floor really easily. Some people will be able to do it on the floor, but only maybe for a couple of reps. So you might just want to do 3 reps. I recommend no fewer than 3. If you find that you can do just 2, I just raise the hands. I'm going to do it with hands raised. I'm going to do 8 reps because I'm just looking to groove my pattern again because I haven't been doing push-ups recently at all. So it's just an easy thing that I will boost strength in. So for hands elevated, which is going to account for a lot of people, you're going to put your hands on anything that is a stable surface, any chair, couch, arm of a couch is really handy usually because they're a bit stiffer than the cushion. Countertop is good as well, and stable desks as well can be useful. And you're going to go for 8, where you're keeping your body rigid like a plank, like that, and you try and get your chest to touch the chair or floor, wherever you're going to, but it's okay if it's hands like a fist length away, that's really good as well, that's good depth. So you don't have to go all the way down. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next exercise is going to be a good morning. So this you can do, I don't have my day out here, but you can do it with a stick along your back and just practice hinging. So you're going to be trying to keep your back in the same place and then just push through the waist. So placing your fingers, pointing them down to the floor, push into that crease of your waist in order to get the correct movement. So you only move through the hips that way. Whereas if we were to reach and just round back, we're not really getting the goal of the exercise at all. If we have a weight to work with, you're going to hold it up at the chest, and you're going to keep it touching your chest as you go down and up. So we call it good mornings because it's like you're bowing to someone and saying good morning to them in a very polite way. So we're going to do 10 of these. 9, 8, 7, 6. Remember to use your hips and feet to drive yourself back up to the top. So it's not about pushing your chest up, it's not about lifting your head first. It's all about pushing the ground away through your feet, through your hips to get back up. The next one is Dumbbell Row. So just going to grab slightly lighter to warm up with. We're going to set up with the chair again, and it's not too important what height it is. By the way, this can be vary up and down a little bit. You can also even use a wall, it'll just look a bit different, but we'll go with the chair today. So here I'm going to have my feet separated out wider than shoulder width, and then I'm going to let myself fall forward onto one hand. So you can go on to 2, it's a bit easier to start with. Then you're going to take one hand off and just row the weight up towards your hip, the lower part of your stomach, not your armpit. So we don't want to look like this. We want to feel we're pulling it back towards our hip. We're doing 8 each side. This is an 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So swap arms and row. We don't want to feel like we're twisting our torso, but we can get a little bit extra by pushing through the hand that's on the chair as we row that weight up to our hip. You can tell me if I'm completely miscounting while I talk at the same time. But I think that was it. Alright, last exercise of going to be a suitcase carry. So this is a great one, I think, for just everybody. There's lots of things that can happen. It's really simple. It doesn't matter if you have a heavy weight or not, because you can just pick up a heavy bag, fill it with some textbooks or similar, some bricks if you have them out in the garden, and you're just going to literally walk with it. So I'm going to walk over about 20 meters. So I'm just going to do a few lengths of this room, which is obviously not very big, and I'm going to do, I'll do 6 altogether, and then I'll swap hands. So while I'm doing this, I want to try to avoid leaning one way, like this, or swaying as I walk. So I'm trying to keep my shoulders level and not be impacted by the weight pulling me down to the side. You'll feel it if you're doing it well, if it's a heavy enough weight, you'll feel your obliques at the side working nicely. Your grip is also going to be trained well. So just be mindful that you want to pick a weight for an object where your grip, if it starts to fail, you can lower it down nice and safely so that it doesn't fall on your toes. Now, I'm going to grab some water, you can too, and we're going to go into this again, but I will talk a lot less, as I said, and I'll just count through the reps a bit more. So it'll be a faster tempo, but as I said, you just go at your pace. You can obviously pause the video, do whatever you like. You can do as many rounds as you like as well. I'm just doing 3 today, but if you want to do just 1, it's absolutely fine. It's a nice way to build it. So you do 1 week, or 1 day, say. The next day, 3 days later, you'll do 2 rounds, and then you work your way up to 3 rounds when you're ready. There's so many ways you can make the same set of 5 exercises, but create different workouts using those 5 exercises. That will create different stimuli for the body, so you're getting a different stimulus, making it adapt a little bit differently by changing it, but you don't have to change it in major ways. Okay. So, first one is our squat. And we're going for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then our push-ups, going for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, going into good mornings. So, weight up at the chest. With a little bow. Good morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. Jump. Come into rows. I like to start on my weaker side. It's a good way to know what level you're at to start with, so you don't start getting really strong on the right and then being too tired and doing less on the left. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then our suitcase carry. So grab it again. Using whatever space you have. Makes sense. feet cross over too much as well. So they might want to do a lot of this and crossing over. They're trying to, it's okay if they do a little bit, it'll be a little bit different walk than if you just weren't carrying anything. You're trying to resist that crossover action. Second round done. So we're going to take at least a minute's break and then get at it again. It could be useful to have a heart rate monitor as well, if you happen to have one. So if you see your heart is up 150 or so, would be normal enough. Sometimes people only are getting up to 120, 130, that's fine. But a good recovery heart rate to go again would be 120 or lower. So a lot of recovery you'd be back in at 100, but it depends how accurate your device is as well. This is not a heart rate monitor. Okay, ready to go again? So we're going to start with the squats and go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the push-ups out again. Told you I wasn't used to these, you can tell. Okay. The reason I like to do it upright, by the way, rather than knees on the floor, is because you get a bit more abs engagement if your legs are straight out behind you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are a few technical points to big push-ups that are available on my YouTube channel if you do want to go find them. There's a few things where people can go a little bit wrong and not get as much benefit and maybe increase risk of issues around the neck or back. So next up is our good mornings. So going forward, really trying to hold that weight up. Keeping the spine neutral, so the hips have to take all the load. You should feel abs a bit and hamstrings when it does get heavy. We've got 3 more. 2, 1. And rows. Set up. Feet out, hand in, and row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Suitcase carry. Feel free to go walk in the garden for this one if you have a nice garden to walk in. Nice length to use. This is great for your grip. This can really feed into things like deadlifts, heavy deadlifts, if you're someone who does those as well. Make sure you're safe with lowering down weights, particularly when you're getting tired. Had a few stories, people coming in, they just put the weight down, they just twist it down, they're tired, that's not their hips doing the rotation, which is what we want. That's going to be their low back, and so then they tweak their low back. So we can just avoid that so easily by making sure to put the weight down and pick it up sensibly. So just in front of you, rather than any sort of twisting action, is best. Even if you do round your back, if you're not twisting, you're still much safer. So we're not finished the workout technically until we bring our breathing rate right down. And that'll bring our heart rate down at the same time. So what we're going to do is go down onto our backs and try to breathe in and out through the nose as soon as we can. So we want to start, if you need to, mouth breathe, that's fine. Take the big breath in, just let it come naturally, but then as you feel you've calmed down a bit, slow the air down. Start bringing it in through your nose, out through the mouth if you need to. Then, as you find that's getting easier, try and go in through the nose, out through the nose. If we just leave right now when our heart rates are up and we're a little stressed out because we're in the fight or flight response after a workout, then we're going to just carry that through into what we're doing next. So whether that's work or looking after your family or looking after yourself, whatever the case is, you will be in a better position if you actually recover fully your breath before doing that. Get into what we call the parasympathetic state, which is your rest and digest mode. So I'm going to lie down on my back to make it really easy. And close your eyes. You can put on relaxing music as well if you wanted to really stimulate nice relaxation mode. When you're exhaling, really let the air out. Don't have any control over it as such. And just let everything in your body kind of deflate, like in a good way, so it sort of melts and just lets go of any tension. Ideally, what we want is for your breath to become really quiet in and out through the nose before you head off. So that's the end of today's session. Hopefully you got something out of it, and obviously it's something that you can watch again and again if you like. You can write it down and just follow it at your own tempo. You can change it up a bit, do more or fewer sets or reps. And make sure that you're doing the progression level that suits you in terms of the range that you're using. For example, push-ups, as we went through, put your hands up, put them down, use the appropriate weights, and in squats only go to a level that suits you. All those little tweaks are what make exercise programs work effectively for you, for the individual. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or comment below.